I'm totally lost. This zoning thing is a total asinine thing to do. The state said you didn't have to do it. So I do not know what the county's doing.
We're not talking about zoning right now, we're talking about
Jim Mills was not going to do a friggin' thing out here. What happened? He didn't do a friggin' thing. You have run off, I apologize, not you. The county has run off people that would have used the main hangar. So, you don't even have they're interested in you. The county doesn't even have a full-time manager. There's nobody out here on weekends. There's nobody out here in the afternoon. But Dave's out mowing. There's nobody here. There's so many things that need to be addressed.
The county is going to do what the county's going to do. We don't have anything to say about that other than to say, this is probably what you should do.
And that's what's been told the county for a long time, that what they're doing is not what they should do.
Well, but once again, they're going to do what they're going to do. We can't don't have much to modify that. They're going to do what they're going to do. But we can say, this is what you probably should do. If they don't do it, fine.
I think we're all in agreement that what you're saying, Chris, is that we do need a full-time manager.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah.
And so I think that's what we'll put on the record to the county that we recommend a full-time manager.
And I'd like to see that full-time manager be AP with inspection authorization.
They don't have it.
No.
They don't have it.
It's a possibility, but it's remote.
Listen,
very remote.
This gentleman sitting next to me and I have done more up here than you guys have any idea. We advertise, we interview people to come in as manager after Bill Upton died. It ain't gonna happen, guys.
Did you try Indianapolis, their school there, their AP school?
What's the budget out here? What's the budget for the guy here? You know?
I don't remember what the operating budget was. It's not a lot. I think 15,000, wasn't it?
Budget is $75,000 a year.
And what did they
budget?
And what did they pay you?
$14,000 a year.
14?
13.5.
Okay.
And you're part-time as well, right? 25 hours. And you're out here more than you should be. I'm playing 40 every week, and I got paid for 25. Right. Well, I worked every holiday and every Saturday and Sunday for a year and a half.
What I would like to see, and whether it happens or not, it may not, but I would like to see some new AP come out here as a manager, get in a hangar, pay him a little bit, and let him start in that field, work a little bit, make some more money besides what he gets paid as manager. Now, that's what I'd like to see. Will it happen? It may not. But Indianapolis does have an AP school.
But the place can't be run on 25 hours.
No.
That's only 5 hours. 5 hours a day. That's not enough. 9 to 3 is not very good. Because a lot of people want to fly on weekends and they want to fly on holidays. They want to fly at evening. Like right now, if somebody flew in right now, there would be no fuel for them. And it's a pretty nice evening to fly.
Now you're arguing for a card here.
Yeah. I guess I'm completely on the guard. I don't understand. You should have 3 more people here tonight.
County board's not part of the board.
They're not part of this anymore.
You all haven't read the resolution yet. You don't know you have no clue. They have to. What resolution? That's the whole story. That tells the whole story right there. The previous county boards in 1974 adopted a resolution with the advisory committee. And it's specifically spelled out how it's supposed to be operated and put together.
Yeah, what does it say?
It's nothing like this.
What does it say? I mean, tell them.
There's supposed to be county board members here.
That's not what it says, but...
Have you read it?
You know what this actually shows to me? And I feel sorry for you guys on the bunch, and I feel sorry for you, that I think you got thrown under the bus.
Yeah, you did.
Because I don't think anybody on that county board would give a diddly what goes on out here, and they're putting you out here as a token to kind of take the blunt of it. And person on that county board that really wants this place to stop.
I don't know that anybody does,
That's my case.
but
How many of you guys want to make this thing succeed and willing to put the time and the effort in it takes to make it happen?
For where are we here?
You're here when's the last time? Dale's here a couple times a week, you're here a couple times a week. Joe, when's the last time you were here?
this weekend,
How much?
just this weekend, I don't come out much because there isn't nothing out here.
What's that?
When's the last time you was here?
I took passengers on my wedding day, last Saturday. I'll be out here tomorrow morning with a load of fungicide that have flown on. How often are you out here? You're not playing out here anymore. I know you're wanting to get one.
This man lost his job because he talked to me. I come out here Sunday, they won't let me do anything. They basically just run me off. And they didn't want to take any advice. This is the first time anybody's ever asked our opinion, and I'll guarantee it wouldn't fly. And we came last time, and I said, you know how long it's going to take to straighten out what's happened here in the last 2 years? I don't know when it can be done. And then if you go, like if you can go to control the crop listers out here right now, and that's a whole different story. But if you go to control that, there's no backing from the county board. They don't care what this is. They're listening to Rob Lowe, they're listening to the chairman of the board, and they're listening to the watchdog. And you're thrown out here on the bus, the way I read it.
I don't think so.
You know what I'm saying?
And, once again,
Your opinion and our opinion.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter a bit. The county board is responsible for this facility.
That's right.
That's the bottom line.
And the board we got right now.
That's not necessarily true. I, as a taxpayer, have got some say out here.
Well, to the county board, yeah.
No, I think everything you guys said is exactly right. I mean, we have to at least have some vehicle to voice the public's opinion to the county board.
And that's what this is.
And that was what Derek's thinking was here. And we have talked about the resolution, and it says that there's county board representation, but it doesn't say that it has to be 3 members or anything like that. And in this case, Derek is here, but he's not going to be a voting member or such, and he can just tell us what he'd like us to advise on and go from there. Now, when he was talking about the hangar, he called me and asked my opinion, and I shared it with him. But the thing is he needs to have more than just one person's opinion, because there's a lot of bright people in this room that all care about the airport, or he wouldn't be here. So,
You guys knew that was running before, not like the way it was before, just exactly the way it was before. And you'll have hangar space for transit, so is it.
I don't know that it'll ever get back to the way it was, but
You may not
You
want that.
can start with that main hangar.
that's the hope.
But one thing that I personally I don't even know what happened to it, but my question is, why did we have minutes last meeting, why did we have showing what the budget was, how much money had been used in the budget, where it was used and working? There's no minutes put out here, Dale, you remember those days. And I've never seen one in the last year that was complete. And I just personally think that the board right now showed me exactly what they think of this airport.
What they think doesn't make any difference. They are responsible for this airport.
And they don't care.
So, I agree, we should have that posted out here somewhere, available, the budget. It's just an operating
Well, you
budget,
got that's gonna make it up.
somebody's gotta be doing it.
It came out December 1st, the budget did, for the whole year, from December 1 to
We
December.
have the budget, the appropriations board is not, nobody's making it up. There's nobody to put it together. the first item of business you need to address is a full-time manager.
Then you need a restaurant out here. Without a restaurant, this airport will not go. It's gotta have food. Of some kind, you need to fire up a grill out here and cook a hamburger. It's better than no food at all. Because everybody stops in is hungry. The land's here. And people want fuel. You gotta have 24/7 fuel out there. The card readers, one thing you gotta have a mechanic here in case they break down. You can roll in here and change some spark plugs and give you an annual. You gotta have that. So there's three things you really need is fuel all the time, you need a restaurant to cook some food, and a mechanic to fix the planes. And then the airport would grow. I agree. Now, if you don't have those three items, it's just a ghost town. It just keeps going down and just grows up in weeds.
I agree with that.
Let me ask you guys,
So where do you start? What should you start first?
I think the first one has to be where Chris said, is we need to have a full-time manager.
what was you guys talked about tonight we were having?
We were gonna talk about the main hangar, and just, if anybody was here, explain what the county's doing with the advisory board, and then any other topics somebody has that we need to do. I mean, my recommendation is still that at some point, we got a lot of cracks need filling. So,
What happens if you don't fill those? Do you have any idea what happens if those cracks don't fill?
they get bigger, and there's heaving around them, and you'll just spread gators.
Do you know that the state flies through once a year and inspects if the cracks aren't there? Or if the cracks are there and they're not maintained, what happens to your federal, your entitlement money?
They put it on hold. We went through this.
That's right.
I'm not talking just the taxiways, the road, and everything
Well,
else.
that's a terrible mess. Absolute terrible mess. This taxiway out here needs to be filled again.
So, that's something I would think that as a group we should recommend.
You need a manager to pick these things out.
I agree. I don't disagree with you, Chris.
The first thing you need is a manager.
I agree.
You had a good one.
Then you need a secretary too to answer the phone and do all of
I tell you what, they pissed away the photography was about $300 to $3,500 a year. 2 years of it, they haven't collected. They collect $600 one year.
You're talking about property fees, yeah.
But nobody knows.
Jerry was at the helm when that didn't get collected, so
They got rid of Jerry's secretary who kept track of it.
there's not that much going on to need a secretary out here.
Bullshit.
That's not right.
Bullshit. Jake, you don't know what's going on out here. What could go on? You don't know.
How long did this place get along without a secretary?
It always had a secretary.
Did it?
When Bill Huffman was here, it had a secretary.
We have a manager now, that's called Tom. He may be temporary, I don't know, but I totally agree with Jerry. Jerry knows what needs to be done here, and we could start with an every other Saturday breakfast. If we could get the manager, maybe a board member, and maybe us together, it's biscuits and gravy are cheap. Once it gets started, every other Saturday, you have a breakfast. That would get it started. I would hope it would grow. I don't know whether it would or not, but it's something to try.
You know why we don't have pancake breakfast?
Yeah. Too much trouble. Yeah.
That's not the reason. That's not the reason.
Yeah.
It's not.
Too much trouble. Nobody wants to.
Let me tell you what the
That's
reason
not the
is.
reason.
It's not the reason. I'm telling you, it's not the reason. We had the stuff ordered to put the pancake breakfast together.
All right, tell me.
We was informed.
Tell me.
We're doing that. Listen.
I'm listening. Tell me.
Shut up. That's not the reason.
We had all the stuff ready to put together. We had 4 quotes. The watchdogs told us that we'd never get put through because they didn't pass the food regulations.
They're wanting a license then.
And I said, you know what? With all the grief we put through the watchdog and never let them run this county, I don't think we need to bother putting our pancake breakfast together. I said, us call it off for a year to see what happens, because it was after I was gone, and I didn't have any authority, and I knew right then that the county wasn't going to back anybody until the watchdogs made the decision that we wasn't going to back anybody. That's what happened.
So you're saying it's because of the watchdogs?
Exactly.
Like them or not, they're in the right. So there you're leaving yourself wide open for some liability if you don't have a food
We've run for
license.
how many years without it?
You got lucky. You might have got lucky for the end of time.
Watchdogs have done more to destroy this county than anybody.
Hey, I'm not saying I'm a fan. I'm just saying, a lot of times,
It's something you're battling.
they've done their homework and they usually know.
Yeah.
And one person gets sick out here, you left it wide open for liability.
So we're just, anyway, that's why it wasn't. It wasn't because anybody's lazy, because we set up and ready to go. We had a system that worked. Didn't take long to put together, didn't take long to understand.
Well, I agree. The first recommendation needs to be that we need to have a full-time manager. I'll put on there that we'd like to see the finances posted out here, the operating budget somewhere. Somebody should be doing that. I thought Terry was. We'll see. We need to have a vehicle for collecting the parlor fees. And then the other question we had was the main hangar. Do we want to recommend that the county just keep their stuff there, or have it available for transient or crop duster use?
When I was in there last week, there was one crop duster sitting in there, there's no tractor sitting in there, there's more money we can generate, the better. If it's $50 a night, that's $50 a night. I don't know if any of them would even take you up on it, but that's what it's there for.
So recommend that?
Getting back to the restaurant, the airport here owns the ground all the way to the highway. There's a real good location there where they bulldoze that house down that's set down here on the highway. If you would contact some outfit like, hey Jerry, let me talk to you. Okay, something like Miami's or
I'll
something.
talk to you right now.
Okay.
Let's leave the restaurant on. Let's get the airport checked.
I mean, I think, well, it's gonna take time for it.
Jimmy, I'm with you. I think that's a big monster to attack, Jerry. I mean,
Let's just get it so we got fuel.
But my idea, I gotta give you my idea.
No, just leave it alone. Okay? You still like me?
Yeah, but now you're alone. Can I still say two or three sentences? And I don't care if you agree with me or not.
I know what you're saying, it's a good idea.
And what if you contacted a restaurant company and said, we're gonna give it to you, sign it over to you, 3 acres down here to put a restaurant on it. And maybe 10 years, no taxes. Anyway, set it up so that when people fly in here, they've got a number out here on the gas tank. They dial that number and somebody jumps in the golf cart and comes over and picks them up. Drives them down here to the restaurant where they can eat breakfast. And man, once the word gets out, 2 people flies in, 3 people flies in all of a sudden,
Good idea.
they're coming in. You take the restaurant away from Coles County, it'll be just like this if you did. That restaurant really helps out Coles County. I was over there yesterday. There's a big crowd came in and eat. There's about a dozen planes flew in and eat breakfast.
Seems true about all of these airports that have a facility like that.
Gotta have food, so, but it's hard to coordinate a place to put one right around here, but I'm looking at that area down there. You would get people coming in off the highway eating, because I'm sure that people drive from Christmas to Paris are hungry when they go by. When you get a 24-hour breakfast. Of course, they got electricity and everything there, but there's no sewage system. They have to put in a large septic tank of some kind out there for their sewage for the restaurant. But they would hire some people, work as a restaurant, and get some jobs created. It's better than a ghost town to give it a try. But you'd have to make it real inviting for somebody. You'd have to give them about 3 acres free to do something like that, to get a restaurant started.
Now, they would have to do a study first to look at traffic too.
Yes, it would take a couple of years, but I'd say
It's not anytime soon. I agree.
I think the other thing would be, I think, I haven't heard an update, and maybe it's just my lack of being engaged with some of that, and the way I thought Derek explained, once the zoning thing was set up, then they would go back to the state, and the tarmac expansion and the fuel things.
Yeah.
That's the way I understood the last conversation I had with Derek. But I don't think that would be happening until this time next year, if I understand correctly.
That's my understanding also. It's too late.
Anybody know anything different than that?
This zoning is going to be an obstacle that's going to be very difficult to get over, and it's not needed.
Yeah, I don't know why I sent Derek and them the way Mattoons was set up, and I don't know why we didn't do it that way. Just use those state recommendations that are out there.
It's not the state's recommendation.
No, not the method they're using, but what Mattoon uses is just there's...
Mattoon's different. Mattoon is a taxi body. It's altogether different.
But the Coles County Airport just uses a guide for the zoning.
Taxing body, it's a whole different setup than we are. Can't even compare it. Now, it would be great if this were a taxing body, if the airport authority would have the taxing power, you're going to be like a high school. Yeah. That's what Danville is, what Coles County is, where a lot of them are. That ain't gonna happen either.
No. Well, with that, I don't have anything else on the agenda. Anybody else have anything to add or recommendations or things we need to put in front of the county board?
One thing that was done, and Jerry got it done last year, is the improvements to the hangars with the post replacement to make sure the buildings are still standing, because they looked like they did a good job, the boys did a good job on what they did. It was very much needed.
And I think...
But I do think you're right, the crack repair is probably number one, because I know what Chris is saying is,
Yeah.
I don't know how often they come. You said you think they come once a year.
Once a year, and then they have a grading system, and they score it. Remember, we had that report last year. But I think it needs to be done, and I mean, the guy that did it last year wasn't too out of price range. It was $7,500 to do the taxiways.
If they're needing redone already, did he do that good of a job? I mean, was there enough material?
Those cracks are big, and
they're just no.
you gotta go back over that stuff on some of them. Some of them are held up, I'm sure, fine. But, the stuff that he spec'd was DOT approved stuff. I know we've got a whole skid down here in the building down here, but, I mean, if the county says they can't spend the money, then we can figure out other ways to get that down.
Now, down on the east end of the runway, way down there's a place in the concrete that's about 6 foot by 6 foot or something like that. I don't know, 3 to 6. I don't know, but there's a place that's sunken in the concrete. Somebody come in there, it's right there with the numbers on that end, on the east end. Should ride down there and take a look at it. And there is a damaged place to the concrete. I think it's sunk down a few inches. There it was back in February. I haven't looked at it since then, but it's to the point where it needs to be jackhammered out and concrete brought up to level grade. It's not too big an area. I don't even think it's as big as a refrigerator, that size, but it's worth going down there now and checking out while you're here. You need to go down there and take a look at that damaged area. That's on the main runway, on the east end. Right, the numbers on kind of the northeast corner. And that's the only bad place I know in the runways, but of course the taxiway's cracked out bad. It looks like maybe a sinkhole up there or something like that, the way the concrete's let down in one little area.
It's concrete?
It was in the concrete.
It's unusual.
Sunk in one little area.
Anything more?
Back on that zoning, I know you guys try to get state attorney to send a letter, he wouldn't do it. But the board will send a letter
director.
I thought the way Derek explained it that they wouldn't give him any guidance.
You know, a lot of it's probably true. They don't care anymore about this.
There's nobody from this county other than Jimmy and I that might have talked to the director. He came down for a little bit, but nobody's given him the time of day at the Commissioner County. And I said something to Derek about he goes for it, he goes, I don't have time.
So this is a lot easier just fixing up, I mean, all these little problems need to be fixed. There's lots of communication with the people and making sure what it is down here. Hanson Engineering, they don't have to come down and talk to us anymore, why should they? First of all, they shoot them down on what we actually do. But they come down little and then they shoot them down more, just like slapping your best friend in the face. I heard that story like a cry. You save yourself some money, it's gonna cost you. I don't think, you think you're going about the way you're going now for the next 2 months.
It's not good. It's not.
Well, I know that.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
You understand.
I know what you mean.
You want to take something back.
Is Young the director?
Pardon?
Is Young the director?
Yes. Interim.
Will he be appointed full-time, or is that not a possibility? Any feeling?
It depends on who comes.
If you start this in the direction of putting this into a zoning situation, you got a real battle.
And so Derek's just telling you, Chris, you don't have time for that.
So I said, if you go to the work that came out of his mouth, he didn't have time for it.
Yeah, you guys did, so I don't understand what the negative is there. If you took the time to do that for him
We've been up there twice.
and doing his job.
For him, we were doing it for the county.
Right.
So you've got a very uphill battle as an advisory committee. First thing you gotta do is get somebody out here that is gonna manage, that's got some knowledge of aviation. I'm not sure that the fellow that's a manager right here now can change the bulbs on the plaza. They can. It's just not a, and AWAS has been out, was out for a while, and I'm not sure there were any others. They're just, it's those little things that you need somebody. Jimmy didn't start out as an airport manager. He learned the hard way, talk to people. The division has actually said they'll send somebody down to help on this field to get you in compliance. So, back to the director himself said he would be glad to help instruct somebody. And I've known Tom Doe my entire life. I'm not saying anything derogatory about Tom Doe. But I will honestly tell you, he does not know the difference between an Edgar and a Bill. Those are facts. He's more interested in baseball and sports, his son's sports, than he is in this airport. You need somebody that knows a little bit about aviation.
I agree. So Chris, how on the record should I put about the director's comments?
I don't think you do anything for it when he commented, because they really honestly, there's nobody in the state wants to go on record claiming.
That's what I'm afraid of.
That's true.
That's the first thing you're fighting. What you gotta do is listen to what they don't say, and you know how to apply it. And that's what happens, and that's what's happening, that's what's happened with the land, with the change of the boundaries in the land, that didn't have to be done. runway come in, and in both of those corners on that side, they had to cut a kind of triangle out of that, so when he was coming up 1A, you could be on at 1A, and you could look both ways and see farther down to 2, 7, and 9.
You're talking about the crop setback?
Yeah. Rest of the stuff didn't have to be.
Yeah, that's still not an official document yet. I don't think that is still an official document yet. It was proposed, but it never was finalized, I don't believe.
Proposed. I mean, at the division, the guy that writes the letters said, "Why are you doing that?" I said, "Well, they need to do it." He said, "You don't need to do it until you get a letter, and I'm the guy that writes the letter."
That's right.
I believe we got something that told us we
We
had
got
to
a
do it.
letter from Al Malachy saying it should be set back.
You know, Al doesn't make up, the guy that writes the letters and makes it up, sat in a conference with Jimmy and I, and said, "Did you receive a letter that you were in non-compliance?" And we said, "No, not." And they said, "I know you haven't, because I'm the one that sends the letters. And until you get a letter, you don't need, why in the hell are you doing something?"
You talked to one guy, I got a letter from Malachy. Now that's,
I'd like to see my life this way.
I don't have them anymore.
What did you do with it?
I cleaned house this winter, 2.5 years after.
Dave, I'll tell you what, you shouldn't have done that.
There should be a copy here in the
Anything thrown away,
airport office.
Anything thrown away.
Lee should have had a copy. There should be a copy in the office.
Anyway, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm just telling you that, you know, and you say, well, it's never gonna be like it was. Well, it was successful. It was for an airport that received, our budget was $83,000 a year for a long time. Other airports our size, in communities our size, had budgets of around $450,000 annually. So to give you an idea, it was very successful for what we had to work with.
That didn't cover, that 80,000 didn't cover capital expenses, correct?
The capital, it covered the
Operating expense.
portion, it covered the portion was due to local share. Yes, it did.
Yeah, because I know like the crack filling and all those things were in the posts, were never in the operations budget.
Oh, yes, they are. They have to be.
They came from capital from the county, I believe.
Why?
So I don't understand.
That's the way Jeff does it.
Yes, I don't understand his.
Well, nobody else does either, quite frankly. But I'm telling you, it's supposed to, it should have come out of the budget. The $10,000 that was spent on relocating Dave from Jim Mills came out of, part of it came out of the sheriff's budget. I will tell you that, never showed up. So you really don't have a clue on what they're doing.
You're exactly right. It seems like a shell game.
Absolutely, it's terrible. It's terrible. So that, I'm not sure it's legal, but I'm not a watchdog.
I don't know. But I agree. It's kind of funky the way there's money over here and moves around. All right.
Well, if there's money over there, Joe, get us a manager.
I agree. That's going to put it at the top of the list, and we'll probably just with the county. Anything more?
Yeah, Joe, instead of a full-time manager, I'd like to see 2 part-time managers for the same money, if possible. You know, so you get a little bit of time off, because one full-time manager is going to have to work 7 days a week and holidays out here. I didn't mind working weekends and holidays to keep the place, you gotta keep the place open. Do that for an airport, but I mean, if you had 2 guys, you could alternate a little bit of time off, and you could all, you know, for the price of 1 full-time, I think you could have 2 part-time guys working 20 hours a piece.
We'll try for one first.
Yeah, try for 1, but I mean, either 1 full-time, but you gotta double up the money, or else 2 part-time.
Yeah, I gotta get to the Farm Bureau meeting.
Well,
Can you get a county board?
thing